Good morning, everyone. I'm Tiara Bishop, Secretary of the CPI Student Advisory Board. Welcome to the 2022 Homecoming Spotlight on Success Alumni Showcase, sponsored by the Career Pathways Initiative. The purpose of today's event is to showcase our esteemed alumni of Voorhees University and the success they have in their careers. Now we have a prayer by Joshua.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Joshua Lewis Duncan. I'm a senior, majoring in theological studies at the prestigious Voorhees University. Let us now bow our heads for a word of prayer. Dear Lord, we want to say thank you for allowing us to witness this day, a moment to remember and look at where we have come from. Lord, as we welcome our alumni back to their alma mater, we want to tell you thank you for allowing them to attend such an illustrious institution. Now, as they return to Voorhees, let them reflect and reminisce on their time here. Let their words encourage, inspire, and even challenge us to be even better products of this fine university. And let us never forget the legacy of our beloved founder, Miss Elizabeth Evelyn Wright. Her determination and tenacious spirit. These and all the blessings we pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Today we have Dr. Corey Seffield, Program Director, Post-Secondary Access of College, AIM, Ms. Shantae Andrews, Human Resource and Diversity Equity and Inclusion at TAP Group Foundation, and former Ms. Voorhees. We have Mr. Denzel Walls, Human Resource Professional at International Business Machines and a graduate student at the University of South Carolina, Columbia, also former Mr. Voorhees. We have Ms. Lakeisha Watts, Project Administrator and Equal Business Opportunity Coordinator for Synergy Development Partners, LLC. And we have Mr. Tawan Montgomery, Realtor, former lead buyer agent for Carolina Russell Estate Team for Keller Williams of Columbia. Today I have a few questions regarding your experience at Voorhees University. My first question is, what helped you become successful during your time here at Voorhees University, and how did your success impact your professional success after graduation?
Sure, I can start off. Good morning, everyone. I think for myself, when I came to Voorhees, it was really important for me to really kind of find my community, and that's what I did. One of the things my mother told me that, when I went off to school and when I was in Atlanta, just make sure that you watch the company that you keep, because those individuals, of course, influence your thoughts and your actions. And so when I came to Voorhees, it was really important for me to surround myself with other individuals who had goals like myself and that were like-minded, so that they would keep me on track, which the goal for me at that time was, of course, to graduate from college with a biology degree, and that's what I did. So when I came to Voorhees, I was able to find my community, and those individuals within my community definitely pushed me to be the best version of myself. So that's pretty much what helped me out.
Thank you. Similar to this point, it's about community. Community you surround yourself with, but for me, I truly leaned in on what all Voorhees had to offer. I took advantage of the opportunities that are before me, and just really leaned in. I worked closely with Mr. Mayor, the CPI, and just any opportunity that I saw, I wanted to lean in and get the most out of the experience. Because what you'll learn in life is everything is dependent on how much you're willing to put into it. And I feel like that's what really carried me here at Voorhees and allowed me to be where I am today.
Not to be redundant, but I'm going to absolutely agree with these two young men over there that it's the community that influenced me at Voorhees. The individuals, the professors who you had immediate access to all the time. You had you had a network of individuals who really cared about how you grew in your future endeavors and goals in life. So I like to consider the network, the people at Voorhees, that community environment that influenced me a lot in life.
We all have the same answer.
I definitely had a strong foundation as far as my parents. So I knew I couldn't go home without work. So you got 4 years to make it happen. And to piggyback off what everyone else said, definitely surrounding yourself by friends that have like minds. So even if you're tired, if everybody's like, hey, you up, 8 o'clock class, let's go, let's do it. Stay out all night, it's fine. Get up, go, make it happen. So definitely surrounding yourself with people who have the same goals, who graduate on time and be successful.
Thank you. I'm gonna take a little bit of an exit while I absolutely agree with what everyone else was saying. I would add, it's no secret that Voorhees, especially during the time that I was here, was disproportionately resourced. But what I think was an advantage because I came in and had the opportunity to be a part of the mass communications degree that was in development. I think it was helpful to be able to see the staff and the faculty here be able to build something with the limited resources that we have and still give us space to experiment. And that translates to my professional career now because I've often been in spaces and working with organizations in which I've had to build departments or build teams. And I saw that, in action and as an example here at Voorhees. And that's how I translate that into school.
Thank you. My second question is, what advice can you give the current students to obtain success you obtained at Voorhees during your career? What advice can you give current students to obtain the success you've obtained here at Voorhees and during your career?
I guess to be honest with yourself, the reality life is about who your sphere of friends are, who your network are, who's your network. I know my business love to say your network is your network. Who's around you, who's influencing you, who has your mind space. So I would caution individuals to be cautious of who you call your spirit and who's your group of friends and who influence your thoughts as well. So that is the biggest advice I would say. Just be aware of who you're around, who you spend your time with,
Hello? Oh, yeah, this was her.
I would say believing yourself, staying true to yourself, even when things get difficult, they seem like you're not going to just never giving up, just push through and be heard.
Well, really, it feels like a long time ago now, almost 16 years, but I remember Alden Tiger, Mr. Jenkins, our first day, freshman year experience, he said, you're lovable and you're capable. And I think it was very important to have that level of affirmation from a stranger that would soon become your community, your friend, your relative. And so I think that's very important to just find a person, a leader that you can connect with, that can pour into you, because you have a lot of experiences where you may be isolated or disconnected from your family, but there's an opportunity to reconnect here at Voorhees. And I would also add, as you were saying, just experiment. I've been out of the country because of Voorhees, been able to go and study abroad in Brazil, do cybersecurity. A lot of the things that I have had access to and exposure to, it was because of Voorhees and their willingness to engage and create these opportunities for folks.
Here we go. All right. So my biggest piece of advice for current students is to don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Typically, and I'm speaking to myself when I say this as well. So, when we operate in our comfort zone, we tend to become stagnant. And so when you're pushed beyond a comfort zone, you're basically challenging yourself. And when you challenge yourself, you allow yourself to grow. And so I always tell my current students right now, students that I work with, which are high school students, to always think about, your next level and what is it going to take for you to get to that next level. And for most of them, it's about pushing themselves beyond their comfort zone. your comfort zone is the comfort zone is different for going to be different for from one person to the next. So for some, it could be moving to a new city or a new state. For some, it could be taking a new opportunity or at a higher level. But again, don't be afraid to take that jump, because that is when we really begin to experience our true growth as people.
Similar to what everyone's been saying, but my advice would be for everyone just to be bold, take advantage of these opportunities, seek out things, and most importantly, build a great network. I mean, you hear the old adage, it's not what you know, it's who you know. That's really true throughout all walks of life, whether it's corporate, professional, personal. The connections you make today while you're a student, whether it's on this campus or another campus, will carry. It helped me. I'm sure everyone here can speak to. There's a relationship that they had with someone that was able to open doors for them. So be bold and just create that network, because it's going to take you further.
My next question is, what gave you motivation to continue when times were difficult?
So for me, I set internal goals for myself, and of course, it was extremely difficult. I was a student coming from Atlanta to rural Denmark, South Carolina, and so I was like, yeah, what did I just get myself into? But there were times like I really wanted to give up, but I thought about my goals and the end goal, and everything that I wanted to accomplish in my life required some type of post-secondary education and a degree, and so I know that I had to finish. That on top of the fact that my mother was crazy and still is to this day. So she played no games when it came to even to my education. And so when I was in school, work didn't exist. So of course at that time grades were still mailed home. And I vividly remember, I think it was my sophomore year, I got 2 C's, and I got a phone call from my mom, and she said, "Do I need to bring you home?" And I know she was dead serious, because she's like, "I'm not paying money for you to go and get C's." And so she was serious, so I knew that I had to shape up. But again, it was really about the support that I had from my family as well as my own education.
Yeah, setting goals is really what got me through. I knew that I was here for a higher calling or a bigger reason. So whatever things that were going on at the moment, I knew that was just momentary. I'm here for something larger. And then I felt like I was representing my family. I felt like I wasn't just doing this for me. I'm doing this for the neighborhood I grew up in. I grew up from my mom, my parents, my brothers. I really felt like everything I was going through, or everything that I've been through, this is what's on my back, and this is what carried me through every day. And then it's important to set those hard goals. A goal that you know you can get is not worth setting. Set something that you can reach for, it's going to take hard work. That'll get you through every day. Every stumble is going to happen, but as long as you keep in mind what you're doing it for, who you're doing it for, and then what you're trying to get, it'll keep you on that path.
I know I've always been an avid reader of autobiographies of successful individuals. And one thing that I've noticed, there's a common theory, a common theme with all successful individuals. They all have a hard point. They all reach a point where they feel like they can't go any further. And the difference between a successful person and a failure is a failure quits when it gets hard. And a successful person takes that one last effort to get to that brick wall. And I knew if I wanted to be successful, I had to take that one extra step, that one extra mile, do that one extra assignment, do that one extra, talk to that one extra person, as I tell my wife, call that one extra lead and make that one extra deal. Just are you willing to take that one extra step when times are hard? It's easy when things are easy, but leveling up, you got to level up, just are you willing to take that one extra step? It's hard sometimes, you gotta do it,
I would say my parents were a strong part of my foundation. So I knew I couldn't go home without a degree. I was going to try to find some other people. And I have 3 younger brothers who I knew were looking at me. So I can't encourage you to do something that I haven't done, right? So that was a big deal. Making sure just that I did what I was supposed to do so that they can do what they're supposed to do. But definitely family support was a huge deal of my success. Even when things were very different. I'm from Atlanta as well, East Atlanta. So this was very different for me. But then I called my mom crying, like, I don't know if I'm here for this. But she definitely was like, well, you can come home when you're finished. That's it. So having that support, it's okay, you'll be fine.
I would add to that as well. I kind of had, my mom graduated Voorhees and she worked at Voorhees while I was here, so I didn't have any choice. So that the academic aspect wasn't a place where I needed the most motivation because it just felt like a responsibility. But I think because we experienced loss, active on campus, like I was referring to with Mr. Jenkins, is the experience that is non-academic, that there needs a place to land that for folks, because if you're coming to Voorhees, you're either running from something or running towards something. And there's bonding through trauma, through loss, but there's also just the mental health and capacity that folks are in this new environment. So I would definitely encourage folks to just tap in, go to chapel. One thing, definitely just being in that environment, just being in the presence of folks that are on one accord and in agreement. I think that's really helpful, but we have to balance the academic as well as the mental health and awareness as well.
What staff or faculty members were instrumental in your success at Voorhees University and in your careers?
Yeah, there was a lot. I stayed in front of people's face while I was here. Especially in the business department, if I had to pick, I would say Dr. Whitaker and the whole entire business department is instrumental for me. There were people that I can call today, whether I need help with accounting or I got a big decision to make as far as what I want to do with my career. Like, there's still people that I can count on. They just always been people who push me, never let me get comfortable, just putting me in positions for me to, things they knew that was necessary for me to grow, they always seemed to put me in those positions, even when they could tell I was reluctant to do it. Because we know as a college student, last thing you want to do is come to Mass Hall and talk in front of everybody about something. So pushing me to do things like that just really helped me grow and where I'm comfortable to do something like this. This doesn't bother me anymore. As I'm at grad school now, there's more things where I'm interviewing and meeting these CEOs and CHROs. I'm comfortable. It's because of the things that the people at Voorhees here allow me to do.
So I absolutely love all of my professors at Voorhees, well, 95%. But there were two that were extremely instrumental in me being who I am today, and that's Dr. Cassandra Smith and Mr. Jeffrey Sally. These two individuals were just phenomenal instructors who not only cared about the academic piece of who you are as a whole person. And so they just really challenged you and just pushed you to be better and not to settle for less. I can remember freshman year, no, it was sophomore year. I had a paper due in Mr. Sally's class and Dr. Smith's class at the same time. Mr. Sally made sure that I did not do the same paper for both classes. And he actually called Dr. Smith to make sure that I turned in a different paper. So it was really, it wasn't about just me, just trying to get a grade, but again, pushing me to be better and be a better version of myself, which is also translated into my professional career.
While I was at Voorhees, there were two individuals that were very, very influential in helping mold me to the individual I am today. Dr. Acor, who I believe is passed away, if I'm not mistaken, and Dr. Laura Dawson, who was my work study boss for 4 years, who was very insistent that if you worked for her, you were going to be the top of the top at the school. And she made sure you were that way, whether you like it or not, you became a top tier student if you were in her office. And I love her for that, and I hated her for that at the same time because she was very, very tough on us, And I really enjoyed being around her at that time.
I have a long list. Dr. Moses, Dr. Michelle, who is Dr. Henry now? I had some really great professors. Like, I mean, I think all of them just did their job, like in encouraging, in educating. That was what kept me. Like when you get frustrated and you want to leave or you're homesick, like the support that I received from like awesome professors, it was priceless. So I would say. But yeah, every one of them gave me something. I learned something from all of them, which I think you should learn something from everyone that you have experience with.
Yeah, it's definitely a long roster. I think the names that come to mind for me is Mr. Devon. He told me, take no $3 bills. I did not know what that meant that year, but I definitely know what that means now going forward. Ms. Bradford, Mr. Hart, Dr. Godwin, they gave me permission to be Black, creative, and a storyteller. And that is what I fold into everything that I do. And I'm beyond grateful just for watching them build an opportunity for me to build my foundation on and establish a legacy for my kids.
My next question is, how important do you think alumni support is to students' success?
Ultimately, everyone's success is their own success. If you want to be successful, you need to take pride in yourself and to make yourself successful. Ultimately, I may be different than everybody else here, but you control your fate. And at the same time, I'll tell you this: there have been a lot of alumni who helped me a lot over the years. I'm not going to be bashful about it. When I started working for myself, there are a lot of alumni that send business to me, and I am so thankful and extremely grateful for them today for doing that. But I had to be ready to receive the blessings that they sent to me as well. So if they sent me business and I didn't do a good job, then they're not going to send me more business. So I'm grateful for that, but I have to be the individual that can handle that as well. So you have to work on yourself and work on your alumni as well.
I would say the alumni support would be like a window of success for the students to see, like, hey, we sat in the same seat, and this is what we made out of our opportunity at Morgan's. So just giving them a realistic view of life, like, hey, after you leave here, this is what you can become. You have the same potential that we have to be extremely successful if you're the
Yeah, I would echo all of that, and I would also add that we act as an extension of the university. So when I'm in Georgia, I'm representing Voorhees, or it's just an example, like you were saying. I had no idea that I would be where I am now, today for sure. But it's familiar, it's family. Like I can go to the coffee shop and see somebody that I graduated with, because it seemed as if folks kind of left Denmark, but still kind of concentrated back in Atlanta. So it's been really, really good to not forget or to be forgotten. And I would just note that as far as the alumni impact.
So, in regards to alumni support to student success, it is extremely important. I think when we speak of alumni support, we automatically gravitate towards financial. But there is so much more that alumni can do in the lives of students to have true impact. One of the biggest things is mentorship. All of us on this stage are doing well in our careers, and I'm pretty sure that there will be individuals who are current students here that may go into the business field, the education field, or the arts. And if we have the expertise to do so, we can basically begin to take them on and have those conversations and kind of mold them into that professional that they can be one day, just by taking them under our wing. So the alumni support is really critical to student success. So anything that we can do, we need to try to do. Just be an extension, like you just said.
hate to go last on this one, they just really said everything, but I'll say, I think a large part of the journey is just being able to see it. I think as alumni, for us showing up and doing events like this allows people to say, hey, I can go to Voorhees and graduate and become all these amazing things that we're doing. So I think alumni supporting in that way and other things they said as far as mentorship, that's a great thing. We should do more of that. I think just showing up for our students and showing them how you can go anywhere from here truly, and being able to show them this is how we did it.
My final question before we direct it to the audience is, what are some of the things your class do to encourage school pride at Voorhees University?
Well, my class is pretty new, 2021 graduates, so we haven't necessarily been able to do a lot, but I'll say for the most part, it's that showing up aspect. We come to a lot of the things still happening on campus and still showing that love and support. And it's not a thing where we graduate and now we're gone. We want to still, show you that we still love you and we still care about this campus. And I think we show support that way by just being here and allowing them to see us and talk to us and see what we're doing now. And I think that's a large part of it.
So for class of 2000, that's a long time ago. But I can say, we are very vocal in our pride for Voorhees, and we show that everywhere we go. Is it enough? Absolutely not. So I know as a class that there's so much more that we can do. But one of the things I can say is that we are happy about our education at Voorhees, and we show that every single day in our kids' lives.
As a class, I'll say we are not where we should be at, I think. There's a lot more we could do. I think as individuals, we show our pride for the institution in the lives that we live. The individual we are in the community, try to be community leaders, business leaders, educators. I think I've told somebody earlier, I have a good friend as a principal at school, how successful we are as a class. And I think that is how we show our pride, as well as it's also advocating for future kids to come to school as well. So that's how I feel.
I graduated in 2009. So as a class, I don't know exactly pushing for any initiatives. But we do encourage each other to become a part of an alumni chapter wherever they're located. So that's definitely something I can say collectively that we push to do.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. I was just 2 years ahead of you. But what I think our class does a really good job of is we are the dopest brand ambassadors for Voorhees. Every time you scroll through Facebook, you'll see some variation of a shirt. And I think we wear the brand image with pride, virtually, and I think in person as well. And we're constantly evangelizing for Voorhees and trying to draw people to this space. And it's kind of a hard sell, I would definitely admit that. But we are always talking about the growth and the opportunity and the potential that's here. So we're trying to direct people to Denmark and help them find themselves in their excellence.
Now, at this time, we'll be taking questions from the audience, if anyone has questions.
I think everybody can probably hear me from back here.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm an actress at my hometown, so I project a lot of times. But anyway, oftentimes, as a matter of fact, you heard it this morning about students being given the opportunity to attend other schools that are not HBCUs. Do you feel that you were not necessarily challenged the way you would have been had you gone to another kind of school? You know, like the
I definitely feel like I was challenged.
you do feel like you were okay.
Yes. I feel like I could sit in any room with anyone and be just as prepared. A lot of the responsibility falls on the student. You owe it to yourself. My mom and dad, they were encouraging. But ultimately, they have their professors, they have their degrees. You know, they got theirs. But I definitely was something I felt I owed to myself to make sure that I was prepared. What my teachers did, my professors did as well. So I can sit anywhere with anyone today, tomorrow, and thereafter, and feel no less. I know that.
That's excellent.
No, I would add for sure, I had mentioned that, of course, I had the opportunity to go and study abroad. And at that time, they were offering like Portuguese as a second language. I did not know that this black girl from Augusta was going to be speaking Portuguese. But it just so happened that I had that opportunity. And I think what it did was plant a seed for cultural competency that is required for me in my job as a head of HR. I need to be able to navigate and move across different cultures and have that understanding. And I don't think that that focus is available at a predominantly white institution because it's more transactional, to be honest.
For me, so high school, I went to a predominantly white high school with very few black people. Then I came to Voorhees, and now I go to the University of South Carolina, which is predominantly white again. I'd say Voorhees is where I really honed my skills and came into my own. I think the attention, the mentorship, and the connection that you form that you only can get at an HBCU really got me and got a lot of us to where we are. Because you're not gonna, most of these PWIs, there's so many people there, you're just becoming a number. But here at Voorhees, you get to build real relationships, and I feel like that is what really set me apart. So now when I go to USC, the skills that I learned here, I can sit with, as she said, with anyone. I can speak in front of anyone. I can talk to anyone. That comes from what I learned here.
I want to piggyback a little bit off that. When I graduated from Voorhees, I don't know if you've heard of something called Peace Corps. I joined Peace Corps. Basically, I moved to West Africa for 2 years and helped a third world country out. And we had counterparts, and all my counterparts were from Harvard, Yale, Penn State, NYU, what was considered quote unquote the best schools in the country. And I was intimidated. As a 22-year-old, while all these Ivy League graduates, I was intimidated. And it was very, very quickly that I learned that I was just as smart, if not smarter than all of them. And my business degree, I had a better understanding of business concepts, how to implement strategies, and how to be successful in the real world than these individuals that were sort of quote unquote from these Ivy League institutions. So I tell anybody this, don't ever sleep with Voorhees, because this is a talented institution. It creates a lot of great graduates, and we can compete with anybody in the world. And I don't have no problem saying that to anybody. And I tell them to their face as well, you know?
So I was a STEM major, enough said. So it was extremely challenging for me as a biology major to be able to graduate with honors with that degree. And now, and with me being in the college access field, I hear those concerns coming from some of the students because they have heard it from other sources. And I quickly tell them of what my experience here at Voorhees and my experience at Carolina University, where I got my master's degree. And in one instance, I actually set up one of my students who came to me and said, I feel like if I go to an HBC that I won't be challenged enough. I quickly set up a class for her to take at Spelman College. And she came back, she said, I want to go there now. That is my only option. I want to go to Spelman. And so I think a lot of students tend to feel that way because they don't have enough people telling them of the greatness of that HBCU's offer. And so with me being a college access professional, I say it every single day. My foundation was rooted at a HBCU, and because of that, my work at the graduate level, my doctoral degree was seamless because of the foundation that I received at Voorhees.
Add that I am so glad to hear all of you say that you were well equipped to be able to compete against whomever. Because I'm gonna tell you, I attended Voorhees also. I came here, country girl. My daddy was a Baptist preacher. couldn't go nowhere, couldn't do anything. I didn't have any social life. I was very shy. I was in my shell, and it took a lot for me to be able to get out there. And you know what? When I went to my job, I started working at Savannah Woods site, and I retired from there. I had so many opportunities while I was there to do things within the community that I still do. Had I not been to Voorhees College, there's no telling. I was able to open up opportunities presented to me as far as, well, the first one was this lady I worked with in the security department. She said, Bernice, we need some Black people in this play that we want to do. And she said, ask some people in your church, ask people in the community. I said, okay, I will. Well, everybody I asked thought it was wonderful, but nobody wanted to do rehearsals. So I said, you know what, this lady, Miss Jean asked me, I'm going to go and I'm going to try out, and I'm going to tell them I'll sing in the background, because I sang on the choir here at Voorhees. I said, well, I'll just sing in the background. Little me, you know, had no idea. When Will Cole called me up, he was the director. He said, I would like to speak to Bernice. I was long then. I said, yes. No, I wasn't too long. Oh, yes, oh, I'm sorry. But anyway, I said, yes. He said, no, Queenie. He said, would you take the leading role for Queenie? I had never seen Showboat before. I knew we had sang songs from Porgy and Bess. Mr. Hunter had us learning a whole lots of music from a whole lots of different, you know.
That's right.
Oh, exactly. Mr. Hunter was a student at Juilliard, so he wanted us to get exposure, right? So I went and I auditioned. I kind of stayed in the background. When he told me that he wanted me to take that role, I said, yes, sir. Well, when I got my list of what I'm supposed to be learning, and I saw that book, I thought, Lord, what have I got myself into? And I want you all to know, I went to rehearsal. There were a few other Blacks that was involved in it. From that day to this one, I have never missed a year of doing a play, and it's because of Voorhees College. It instilled in me that you can do it, and that's what I want to hear from you all, that, you know, you say you did not get cheated or you didn't get slighted. That is true. That is true.
Are there any more questions from the audience at this time?
So I'm a junior sports management major here, and my question is, once you graduate, what's the biggest thing to networking and getting your story out there? Like, what's the most important thing to be able to do?
Well, I'd say for you, take advantage of the way the world works now with social media and just everything's on the app. LinkedIn is a great source. Reach out to people, connect with people. Great way to network is to come to things like this. I mean, there's alumni who are working in sports management, on sports teams, whatever you want to do. Start now. You're a junior, so that's great. You got a lot of time to work. You want to build a network. Start doing an internship somewhere. There's a lot of opportunities, but you start using the things that you have on your fingertips with your phone. That will take you a long way. There's a lot of things that many of the people in the room didn't have when they were starting their career, but you have that advantage. Use it. LinkedIn, everyone's on LinkedIn, everyone's on Facebook. Use those tools that you have, and then start branching out, reaching out, and take every opportunity that's before you.
So he took the words right out of my mouth. You should not graduate from Voorhees without several internships. Because that is the foundation of networking, because those people know people and they know people. And so if you start doing internships and do well in those opportunities, they are going to either hire you or recommend you for other opportunities. So by all means, go to your department chair and ask for as many applications and opportunities for internships so that you can do them.
I'm going to piggyback off the guys as well. I mean, especially when I was graduating, we didn't have social media. So absolutely get on these social media sites, and I'm almost certain they got different clubs, or what is it called, clubs or networks on these different social media sites. And a lot of them have these groups, they have meetings. And I would try and make myself go to this meeting and just talk to somebody, you know, if you maybe talk to the wrong person, then talk to somebody else next time, just keep talking to people. Eventually you find the right person and get them under your, where they will mentor you or coach you and get you in the right direction. So social media is the way to go nowadays.
I think the social media is great, as well as internships, but I'm more of a motivation person. I want to talk to me. And that has been my biggest advantage, just, but I did learn it. I'm still not a people's person, but I learned how to talk to people and how to talk to them. So having conversations, just literally just, hey, how's it going? What's your name? That sort of thing. Not being socially awkward. So you should always be able, because even when you get a job, a good job, you have to be able to communicate effectively. So that part. At being able to hold a conversation, no matter what ethnicity or background a person has. I work in construction, it's a predominantly Asian male field. I don't have any issues with communication. So just being able to carry on conversations, even if it's not work related, which is interesting.
Yeah, I would echo those same things, but even in those conversations, I would just encourage you to know your story and take ownership of your story. Because when you go out there in the world, there are a lot of folks that have already one single story about what it means to be a Black man looking for a job, or a Black man just simply existing. And so I think just having that confidence, whether you're connecting with a mentor or a coach, just practice talking and really talking your story and really talking about the things that are in alignment with your future. Ask questions. I think one of the things that we hear, just being in a leadership position, is like being vulnerable, being willing to learn in public, know what you don't know and admit that, and just always have a growth mindset and think about different avenues to accomplish that goal.
Yeah. A growth mindset. Always.
What was his major again?
Sportsman.
Sportsman. Best place to start, I think in high school football, go to the high school, they need people on the sideline to help when someone get injured. And start there, and it'll go from there. But right now, some games we have no physical therapy people, and nobody on the sideline if somebody get hurt. We have to wait 20 minutes for ambulance to get there. You know, if you could get hurt, but, you know, if someone there can kind of help direct them, the high school here, which is getting ready to combine to one big high school, be a good opportunity.
No, I don't need the mic.
She was on the side with me.
I know I'm not on the panel, but the Alumni Association, reach out. There are so many of us who are in that particular field, who, you know, will give you advice, you know, let you know their story, and help you to get your story out. Reach out to the national. There's so many who are in the sports field.
And we want to help. We want to help. I'm a part of the Victoria Olympic Program. We like to engage anything that we can do. I can say this about anybody I come in contact with as far as anything that we can do to help, we will do. Even if we can't help you personally, I can get you to somebody who can. So, don't be afraid.
Are there any more questions from the audience?
Hi, everyone. My name is Olivia Davis. My question, everyone mentioned how much they gained from being here at Voorhees during their time. What is something that you as an individual or just the alumni would like to see be given back to the university to help the students that are here currently, knowing what you know now in your careers?
Money.
We need that too.
Besides money, which is definitely needed. I think more opportunities for things like this. I mean, you look at what he just did. That was the first step into projecting his career journey. So providing more opportunities for our students to be able to connect with alumni and just other professionals in general will help. I mean, we go to University of South Carolina, they have partnerships with companies who literally just come to recruit only our students. We need something like that at Voorhees where we can kick open these doors for these students. And we know for a fact there's great talent here. The hardest part is having people look at us. And so when I got to USC and I saw how easy I'm getting interviews just because I go to the school, we can create something like that here. And it takes all of us to do it, but we can create something like that here. I mean, the possibilities will be endless.
So I'm putting on my college access professional hat right now. And so one of the things that I've seen in the field with a lot of institutions is that they do partnerships with other colleges and universities. So I'm not sure if you are familiar with 3-2 programs or 4-2 programs, but a 3-2 program allows a student to spend 3 years at their home institution and finish the additional 2 or 1 year at the other institution, getting a master's degree. And so for the longest, I have stated, our founder attended Tuskegee University. Why in the world does Voorhees not have a partnership with Tuskegee University? Because they offer some amazing programs like architectural engineering that's not here. An amazing nursery program that's not here. So again, I feel like that would bring a lot of attention to Denmark as well as the Voorhees student body because of partnerships like that. So I'm going to keep talking to Dr. Hopkins about that. Hopefully he will push the button on it.
I personally know a lot of very, very successful graduates of Voorhees College. And what I would love to see is a more organized database to get everyone in contact with everyone who can, and you will have immediate access to know who to call to get this done, because everyone knows all of us are helping. And shucks, I'll tell you right now, if anybody's interested in a free real estate class, talk to me and I'll get you in a real estate class at school for free right now. And that's how and I will mentor you in the process as well. I have no problem helping get your business started. So we all will help, but doing it, how many people know I get that ability to do that? Nobody knows I have that ability. So we need to have a network in systems where we can know who to call for what.
I totally agree. Everything you guys said, just making the students aware that they have these connections, that there are doctors, lawyers, business owners, very successful, big checks. And you can do the same thing, and I can show you how. So just letting them know that they have access to that. Because when you don't know, you just don't know.
I would say investing into the environment. I understand the importance of preserving historical artifacts and buildings and the legacy of the institution, but the reality is the competition has advancements in technologies and amenities, amenities in their dormitories and all of those things. All of those things are correct. And I would say someone being proud when they drive up, when they have to go to bed in their dorm, and being able to functionally use all of the amenities, all of the buildings. And I think that, I'm not sure exactly what the current state is, but I think constantly listening to the cohort that is there, to what those needs are that they have, because we have to advance with technology in order for us to compete in the global market.
Are there any more questions from the audience?
Good afternoon, everyone. I actually have more of a comment than a question. My name is Chad Jones. I'm a graduate of 2001. It's my front row right there, Tashana. My statement is, one of the questions was, did you feel cheated? And, did we feel slighted in any way? You know, after leaving Voorhees, I'm currently an assistant principal in New York. I've been in education for the last 22 years. But after leaving Voorhees, I obtained 3 master's degrees. But I tell everyone, my foundation starts here. So like the young lady in the middle in the black, where she said she didn't have a seat at the table with anybody, that's the same way I feel. You know, in New York, we the mecca of education in New York. But in order to make changes, you gotta have a seat at the table. So I'm at the seat with the superintendent and everybody in my district, and my foundation started right here. So Voorhees is where my heart is.
That's right.
Well, I would like to invite everyone to the Higher Attire Homecoming Fair from 1 until 3 p.m. on the 2nd floor of the Wright Potts Library. And I want to thank everyone for coming out and supporting our illustrious alumni. Thank you, everyone, for participating.
Yes.
We have an announcement about us, you know.
Hello, everyone. I too am a Voorhees alum, class of 2000. And it would be remiss of me, of course, if I did not present on behalf of a new chapter and Utah Mega Chapters of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a gift for our lovely sister, Lakeisha Watts. Thank you so much for everything that you do.
So, right.
Now, on to the next event, I'm sorry.
Also, I'm gonna leave these cards here. If anybody's interested in signing up for real estate school for free, you scan the back of here and put down my name and you're good to go, okay? So I'm gonna leave these here. If anybody wants to go to real estate school for free, just go ahead and go. I mean, it's an opportunity. It costs about $1,000+ normally. It's free. Just scan the card, okay?
We retired, you know what, man?
Yes, we are. I am, very much so.
We retired 16 years, so.
Well, once again, I'd like to invite everyone to the 2nd floor of the Wright Potts Library for the Higher Attire Homecoming Fair from 1 to 3. And thank you everyone for coming out and supporting our alumni. Have a great day.
Thank you all so much. Wonderful job. Get my card. Got
Do you have now?
Most everybody's going through the national or, national everywhere. Child, I take her everywhere. Everywhere I go, she goes. That's right. That's how they go. And they said, and I said, that's right, that's right. And that's how. Every place, and they do I said, that's right. I got to take, no, you got to take off.
You can take it away. They know how to.
She will be everywhere.
I took my son 1 year to get ready. She said, very nice. You're not going. It's gonna be nice. But you're a little cold. Not right down there. I'm telling you now, it's cold. Yes. Yeah. Let's see if you're happy right now. I'm just gonna tell you, happy, man.
That's the only. She said some of the stuff that I'm trying to do. Right, right. Okay.
Well, the kids already named for the
Now, she said that you go to the cabinet. Oh, you got to pay for it.
Yeah.
I thought that was the no, nothing.
All right.
Oh, it looks like you've already been to the store?
No, this is with the lady put the little clear bag and we go. You need you need a clear bag for the
Well,
yard.
I'm gonna, that's what I brought my bag.
Well, see, but we didn't think to bring the clear bag.
I brought my Delta bag.
No, it's not a clear bag.
They can see, they can see through.
You can't see through that.
And you're
Supposed to be a
outside.
clear bag. Leave yourself. And I said, yeah, this is a Delta clear bag. I got Bogey's clear bag.
Well, you know, the red Delta clear bag.
Yeah,
Because you have the Delta clear bag. Well, you know what, I was thinking, I was so caught up
But I
with,
didn't even remember that.
I was
You
so
don't
caught
remember
up
about the
with,
clear
I
bag?
was so,
That's not
caught up.
It was said somewhere.
Oh, wait a minute, I read it somewhere. That's why I grabbed this bag, but I wasn't even thinking. I wanted to showcase Cheryl Hickman's bag, the beach bag. You know,
but I should have brought my,
You gotta take a bag.
my Delta bag.
I-
Oh, but you
I
know
don't-
what, for the game, I'm not even taking the
Yeah,
bag there.
Cause all you do
But
is
if I
take
have in my
change
pocket
in your pocket to
and
buy
in the
something.
cell phone,
Cause I always get one, I always get something. I feel like we need to say, we need to orange. You doing the orange program?
the room is not open until 3 unless we go early and then eat lunch and then go and see availability,
Sometimes they do not have, they.
if it's available.
Yeah.
Especially although some of the sorrows didn't come last night, but I think most of them did, because you can't cancel at the last hour. They still take that Friday night room, because you know they canceled Friday Delta events because of the storm. They sent it out last night, yesterday,
South Carolina.
South Carolina.